Biden speech highlights Twitter link. All right, let's take a look.
I speak to you tonight from sacred ground in America. Independence Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is where America made its Declaration of Independence to the world more than 2 centuries ago with an idea unique among nations, that in America, we're all created equal. This is where we set in motion the most extraordinary experiment of self-government.
I'm not going to lie. Brando is absolutely looking a little bit better and sounding a little bit better. I mean, he's coughing here and there, but like ultimately he does sound a lot better. No memes. Okay. I don't know why they went with such a, this does look like a red alert background. This straight up looks like a red alert background, dude. This is like a side mission.
With 3 simple words, we the people. These 2 documents and the ideas they embody,
Command and conquer,
equality and democracy, are the rock upon which this nation is built. They're how we became the greatest nation on earth. They're why, for more than 2 centuries, America has been a beacon to the world. But as I stand here tonight, equality and democracy are under assault. We do ourselves no favor to pretend otherwise. So tonight, I've come to this place where it all began to speak as plainly as I can about the threats we face, about the power we have in our own hands to meet these threats, and about the incredible future that lies in front of us. Only we choose it. We must never forget, we the people are the true heirs of the American experiment.
You know what's really funny about this? Like, Brandon will be like, Republicans are attacking democracy. And then, like, it's the most tepid speech possible that you could deliver, where they'll be like, and we will not stand for that. And then you got probably Tucker Carlson going, President Biden delivered an incredible speech last night saying that you should be able to execute white Americans. What's going on? President Biden declared war on every white person in America. Like, he'll literally just be like, there's an attack on democracy and I will not stand for it. And then Tucker Carlson will literally turn around and say some shit like, we're live from wherever, like the, Arlington, Virginia cemetery tonight with some incredible news. President Joe Biden has decided to launch an attack on white America. Every single white person is now in the crosshairs of the American military. Back in the day, the American military was an awesome power that destroyed the Middle East. But now that the Afghanistan withdrawal was done so sloppily, President Biden has decided to use that same power on our fellow citizens. One more precog, Tucker Carlson is going to mention the red. Tucker Carlson is going to mention the red and be like, it's red for communism. Now, back in the day, America used to be a proud nation, a nation that fought against the Cold War, not for the Cold War. How fitting. Immediately in the aftermath of Gorbachev's death, Karl Marx himself has decided to come back. A specter is haunting the United States of America, and that specter is President Joe Biden. As you said, Mr. Unity just gave the most divisive presidential speech I've ever seen. Exactly. Republicans will literally be like, Democrats are all satanic pedophiles that deserve to be murdered because they are all having gay baby orgies on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Like, that'll be like a Republican campaign message. And then they turn around and go, wow, I can't believe the Democrats are so divisive because they said Republicans are out of control. Straight up. And the worst part about it is usually Democrats listen to that and go, yeah, that's actually true. We are being a little divisive. We should probably scale back on this divisiveness. You know what I mean? What is this? Tucker Carlson is doing what? Tucker Carlson is crediting Taylor Lorenz with being one of the 3 key tenets of Biden's authoritarian regime.
Authoritarian revolution has had 2 things in common: a coherent worldview and a competent military force. For example, Lenin had the writings of Karl Marx to provide an ideological justification for his revolution, and he had the military genius of Leon Trotsky to pull it off.
Fuck! I didn't call it. I said Marx. I did not think he would pull up Lenin and Trotsky. He only meant, I mentioned Marx. I'm off by like this much. Let's go!
For all his power, Joe Biden does not have these 2 things. Marx and Trotsky? No. Joe Biden has Taylor Lorenz and Mark Milley. Lorenz is the ideological anchor of the Biden White House. She's its muse, its Che Guevara. They are inspired by her revolutionary fervor. But Taylor Lorenz does not write weighty books. Twitter is her canvas. And having surveyed her oeuvre, we can tell you that Lorenz's main idea appears to be that anyone who doesn't wear an N95 mask in the shower is a racist. That's the sum total of her ideology.
Okay, one It's not that I've fallen off. I think it's that Tucker Carlson is unhinged. He didn't even do the classic, like, Joe Brandon is calling an attack on every single white person shtick. Instead, he did the Joe Brandon is trying to do a cancel culture by way of Taylor fucking Lorenz. Friend of the show, Taylor Lorenz, is trying to cancel people on Twitter, and Joe Brandon is doing that as his campaign. Like, Tucker Carlson will not rest until one of his fucking psychotic fans actually does some insane shit to Taylor, by the way. CNN already calling him out about the Marines in the back. Wait, what? CNN? Oh, I did pre-watch this part for sure. Whatever you think of the speech, the military is supposed to be apolitical. Called it, baby. Fucking called it. Fair and balanced, right? Libtards are going to fucking turn around and be like, yeah, you know what? It is pretty divisive. It is pretty divisive. The aesthetics on this are a little too far. You went a little too far, sir. Positioning Marines in uniform behind President Biden for a political speech flies in the face of that. It's wrong when Democrats do it. It's wrong when Republicans do it. So true, Queen. So fucking true. You did it. You want to watch the downfall of American politics? You want to understand why we are so fundamentally brain broken? And you're like, why do people feel the way they do? Because on the one side, President Joseph Robinette Biden will say some tepid ass bullshit about how, like, it's kind of fucked up that the Republicans are trying to fucking, storm the halls of the Capitol. America used to be better when we stormed the halls of Congress to vote or whatever, right? And then the Tucker Carlsons of the world will take that and go, Joe Biden is literally Che Guevara, and Taylor Lorenz is trying to do a cancel culture on every white person by executing them. And then the liberal side of media will turn around and go, actually, the Republicans are kind of right on this one. It is a little political sweaty. And that's how that cycle continues. Liberals will literally never do the exact same thing that the Republicans will do in the media. But most of these fucking libs will be like, well, Hasan, don't you want honesty in media? No, I don't, man. I want the fucking, at least some of the liberal media to resemble the Republican side. And not towards the left, but instead towards the right. There's nothing unusual or wrong with the president delivering a political speech. It is inherent in the job description, but doing it as a backdrop of two Marines standing in attention and the Marine Band is a break with White House traditions. Like or loathe what he said tonight, it should be noted the president spoke tonight on the grounds of a national park flanked by U.S. Marines and took direct specific aim at his predecessor and members of the Republican Party. Another thing we don't see every day. Bro, Donald Trump literally fucking went and gassed an entire crowd of protesters so we could hold up an upside down Bible outside of a church where the priest didn't even want him to be there. And you're like, wow, what a break from tradition for Biden here because he stood in front of fucking Marines. I hate this aesthetic bullshit, dude. Who gives a fuck? I mean, actually, Trump wanted tanks to do a military parade down the streets of D.C. Even his aides told him that was dictator shit. No, dumbass. His aides told him that the American infrastructure cannot withstand tanks. That's why you can't do it. Not because it's dictator shit. So shut the fuck up. You don't know anything you're talking about. American infrastructure is so fucking dog shit as a consequence of the very same Republicans absolutely eviscerating, gutting our fucking coffers, and Democrats allowing that to happen, that, like, you can't even have fucking tanks roll down the streets. You know that, right? That's the reason. That's the real reason. I don't care what fucking you think his aides were doing, the brave aides. Like, yeah, dude, his aides who also couldn't fucking, stop him from doing an insurrection on January 6th? Shut the fuck up.
We must be honest with each other and with ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans.
Dude, that's so funny. Oh my God, I called it. I fucking called it. Every time I think Biden and the crew can't be dumber. Seriously, who gives a speech warning people about how dangerous Republicans are while having a background that looks like Soviet Union and Hitler had a baby? The aesthetics of this are completely ridiculous, but I don't give a fuck. Maybe they shouldn't have leaned on the Dark Brandon thing as hard, but ultimately I don't give a fuck because even when he's doing the Dark Brandon thing, look at what he said. Even when he's doing Dark Brandon, pay close attention. He says, some of these Republicans, not all, just a tiny margin, just like maybe 4 or 5, Jack, they're kind of bad, but we want a good Republican Party. And then Republicans still are just like, bro, that's crazy. That's insane, dude.
Not every Republican, not even the majority.
Like, not all. Hashtag not all men. That's what they all said. There was a Me Too moment, and we said not all men. Dark Brandon's in control. Patriots stand by. Oh, dude, come on. Okay, I don't know if Juniper's in here or not. Come on, I literally just made this joke. It just looks like a scene out of Red Alert or Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Tiberian Sun, one of these things where it's like, looks like a fucking cutscene, dude. I mean, at least there's good memes coming out of it, so fuck it. Oh, hello there. Glad to make time for one of our gallant troopers, but I'm rather busy, so what can the President of the United States of America do for you? JD had to pick the picture that made Biden the coolest, didn't he? Can't believe this is a real photograph. It depicts the president of our nation as he took to the airwaves and spoke about his fellow citizens as though they were sewer rats. Dude, this is awesome. I'm in favor of this. He looks cool. Democracy. I'm telling you, dude. Let them fucking pearl clutch. It's funny. It's got good memes. Overall, I'm a fan. Tucker Carlson reacts to the Biden speech. Yeah, they're a threat. Says the guy with a blood red Nazi background and Marine standing behind him. It's a complete outrage. It's truly nuts and threatening to the future of the United States.
At the top of the show, because we didn't really know how else to respond, but Joe Biden really has crossed over into a very dangerous place. Tonight, he declared in a speech in Philadelphia that anyone who disagrees with him is a threat to the country.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. That the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
Yeah, they're a threat, says the guy with the blood red Nazi background and Marines standing behind him. It's a complete outrage that this is being sanctioned as a White House event. In other words, that this is the approved position of our government. It's totally immoral. And then the guy who encouraged riots in 2020 accused MAGA Republicans of somehow threatening the rule of law.
If liberal media had a spine and wanted to be like at least relatively entertaining, if they wanted to be even a little bit entertaining, they would take a fucking page out of the Republican media's notebook and completely flip the narrative and hyper-focus on the hysterical Republicans in this situation. Show examples of Donald Trump doing infinitely more fascist shit. Show how fucking ridiculous they are being, how baby-like they are behaving, and turn around and say, look, these guys, they can't have it both ways. They loved it when Donald Trump did it, but when Brandon says understandable things, like the Republican Party is out of control, and it is true, it is out of control, people lose their minds. Why can't we here in the United States of America say what everyone is too afraid to say? The Republicans are out of control. They are full-blown the Donald Trump MAGA party, and everyone knows it. There's still honest-to-God patriots out there who probably look at the Republican Party and feel threatened that they still are forcing themselves to vote for a Republican Party that does not represent their best interests. Something along those lines. Just like, lib it up. And fucking do the same thing. Just like flip the narrative on them. What's going on? Who supports these MAGA Republicans? Not me. And I bet it's not you either. That's so good. The former president of the United States of America, after being like understandably investigated by the Department of Justice, turned around on his own social media website because he got banned from the other social media website for literally inciting fucking an insurrection, said, I'm the real president. They should do another election. That's the country we're living in. The fact that the most libbed up Democrats aren't fucking regularly screeching from every fucking mountaintop is wild to me. It got to a point where it's comical because he did it so much and he was so repetitive with his like insanity that kind of got used to it. And it's like we're laughing at it and shit. But like ultimately, it's what you make of it, right? These were the same guys calling Brandon senile. Now they're like, look, he's an evil tyrant. Yeah. If you wanted to, you could cut so much media out of this and just be like, Republicans are crazy. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?